What happens when two powerhouse women in Hollywood clash over creative integrity and the price of fame? The tension in Studio 6B was so thick you could cut it with a knife as Kelly Reilly, the fierce star of Yellowstone, sat across from Drew Barrymore on what was supposed to be a lighthearted promotional interview. But within minutes, what started as casual banter turned into one of the most explosive confrontations daytime television has ever witnessed. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me which celebrity interview moment shocked you the most. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single word of what's coming next. The morning started like any other at the Drew Barrymore show. Kelly had arrived early, her publicist trailing behind with the usual reminders about staying on message, promoting the new season, keeping things positive. The makeup team worked their magic while Kelly sipped her coffee, her mind clearly elsewhere. She had been doing press tours for years, but something felt different about this one. The questions had been getting more invasive, more personal, more focused on her private life than her craft. Drew bounced into the green room area with her characteristic energy, all smiles and warmth. "Kelly, oh my gosh, I am such a huge fan. Yellowstone has completely taken over my Sunday nights," she gushed. And Kelly smiled politely, though those who knew her might have noticed the tension around her eyes. As they walked onto the set, the studio audience erupted in applause. Drew waved energetically while Kelly offered a reserved nod. The cameras rolled, theme music played, and Drew launched into her opening with effortless charm. Compliments were exchanged. Laughter landed where it was supposed to. And for a moment, everything felt light. Then the tone shifted, subtly. At first, when Drew steered the conversation from character work into whispers of on-set tension and behind-the-scenes rumors, Kelly answered with grace, praising her cast and redirecting toward the work. But Drew kept pressing, not cruelly, just curiously, edging closer to the private corners of Kelly's life. When the questions turned unmistakably personal, the air changed. Kelly's fingers tightened around the arm of her chair. "I prefer to keep my private life private," she said, her voice still calm. Drew laughed it off, insisting the audience just wanted to connect. That word, connect, landed wrong. Kelly tilted her head and asked a single, quiet question. Connected to what exactly? The studio went hushed. It was the kind of silence that announces something has just broken, even if no one can see the crack yet. Drew tried to smooth it over, papering the moment with a joke, then pivoted to contract rumors and industry talk. Kelly's composure held, but the steel beneath it showed. "You mean gossip," she corrected. And suddenly the conversation was no longer about television. It was about ownership, and the unspoken ledger that supposedly balances fame against privacy. Drew defended the questions as journalism, as giving the audience what they wanted. Kelly countered that what the audience wanted had been taught, to crave intimacy where it did not belong. The words sharpened. Kelly spoke of boundaries as necessary architecture, not vanity. Drew spoke of openness as a bridge between strangers. The bridge metaphor collapsed under Kelly's reply. "Connection that requires my confession isn't connection, it's consumption." The audience leaned forward. This was not a spat. It was a philosophy seminar dressed as daytime TV. Drew, flustered, tried to personalize the moment, talking about sharing her own struggles on air to make others feel less alone. Kelly did not mock her for it. She questioned the premise. "Is it healing?" she asked. "Or is it theater?" No one moved. Even the crew seemed to stop breathing. Drew bristled, insisting her vulnerability was real. Kelly answered gently but firmly that reality does not require a spotlight to exist and does not become more true when packaged with applause. Producer signals flashed behind the cameras. Drew attempted a reset, suggesting a commercial break. Kelly refused. "You wanted authenticity," she said, eyes unwavering. "Here it is." Then she named the system. A machine that trades in tears and dates and diets. That confuses disclosure with sincerity. Drew protested that the audience cared. Kelly replied that caring about a character is not the same thing as claiming tenure over a person. When Drew used the word paranoid, she knew. Too late, it was wrong. Kelly's stillness was louder than shouting. "Paranoid because I want limits?" she asked softly. "Or because limits threaten a business model?" The producer's hands flailed. The air felt electrified. Drew tried again, softer now. arguing that fame inevitably invites curiosity. Kelly did not disagree. She rejected the conclusion. Curiosity isn't an invoice, she said. Interest doesn't entitle. Drew pushed back with the notion of expectations. Kelly seized it. Expectations written by whom? She asked. By algorithms? By tabloids? By a tradition that confuses a performer for a product? The exchange became surgical. Kelly dismantled the idea that knowing a person makes art better. Understanding my heartbreak won't make Beth Dutton truer, she said. Skill will. Drew argued that audiences wanted the person behind the performance. Kelly answered that the performance was the person's offering. Complete and sufficient. A gift, not a down payment on someone's life. Tempers rose. Drew accused Kelly of being unfair to viewers. Kelly corrected her. She was being fair to herself. I am not a public utility, she said. I am a worker with a job. The sentence landed like a bell. Drew stood, pleading for common ground. Kelly remained seated, steadier than ever. Common ground exists, she said, but not where you're looking. It's respect. Drew asked what that looked like. Kelly listed it. Accepting a no, asking about the work, letting silence live where confession would have been easier. The producer's instructions finally reached Drew's eyes. She suggested a reset. Kelly declined. We've already had the conversation, she said. We just didn't get the ending you expected. Drew asked why. Kelly had come at all if she felt this way. Kelly's reply was honest and devastating. She had trusted that craft would be the headline. Drew's voice cracked as she insisted she did care about the craft. Kelly nodded, acknowledging the truth in it and the limit of it. You care, she said. But the show cares about something else. No one argued. Kelly stood. The movement alone felt like punctuation. Drew rose too, panicked now, invoking contracts and obligations. Kelly considered the word as though tasting it. Obligation, she said. To finish an interview that abandoned its purpose? She named the invisible contract instead, dignity for access, privacy for publicity. I declined, she said. Drew snapped back about professionalism. Kelly smiled, sadly this time. Professionalism is not submission, she said. It's excellence. She picked up her bag. The audience stayed silent, not out of shock, but recognition. Everyone understood the stakes. Drew asked her to sit, promised a different conversation. Kelly said it had already happened. They simply disagreed. Drew asked if there was any common ground left. Kelly answered that there always is, if one is willing to move toward it. Then she defined hers. Judge me by what I make, not what I bleed. She turned to go. Drew followed a few steps, voice softer than it had ever been. People will talk, she warned. Kelly paused at the edge of the set and looked back once. They always do, she said. The question is who we become while they're talking. She walked out. No music swelled. No applause followed. The camera lingered on Drew's empty chair and then on Drew herself, standing in a space that suddenly felt too big. The producer called cut. The red light died. The room exhaled. Later, clips would circulate and captions would choose sides. Some would crown a hero. Others would cry betrayal. But inside that studio, something quieter and braver had happened. Two women had named different truths, and neither had yielded for the comfort of the moment. The show went to commercial. Viewers argued. And somewhere between the noise, a question remained. Newly alive and unwilling to be silenced. What do we really ask for when we ask for more? Note, this is a fictional, dramatized story created for entertainment. It is not a real event and does not portray actual actions or words of any real person.